Well, it looks like we have a new president of the United States of America. After 4 long, grueling days, guys, we have a new president, number 46. I sit down with the gentleman of creating change, and we are going to discuss this and the future of America government. This is Go Creator Go. I'm Antoine Bean. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody. Welcome to another edition of Go Creator Go. I'm Antoine Bean. I am your host. And interesting times that we are in, for sure. Interesting times. We got a new president, y'all. It has been election week, not day, week. And finally, as The Rock would say, finally, there's a new president of the United States. And it's an interesting situation indeed. Joining me by popular demand, I cannot tell you how many emails I've gotten about y'all and how many people have asked, when the brothers gonna get back on? When y'all gonna have the men on again? Well, ladies and gentlemen, particularly the ladies, they're here. They are here. Armani Alexander, educator and extraordinaire brain of just genius. He is here with us. Hello, Armani. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well. I'm super excited to be back with you all.
Awesome. And also, Pastor Sam Fitten.
Mercy.
Yes.
What it do, though?
What it do, sir?
What it do? Coordinate.
Is that a mushroom belt? Is that a mushroom belt? And along with them is to finish out and round us home, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Antonio Bright. Hello, sir.
Hey, good evening or good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Wherever you are in the world. And speaking of in the world, thank you so much to our international listeners in particularly England and in Australia and also in certain parts of the motherland. Wow. All right. God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much for much for supporting us and our good friends in Germany too. We got a few in Germany also that are listening to Go Creator Go. So wow. Dr. Shane. And God bless you. And so, guys, we got a new president. Number 46.
46.
46.
I didn't claim 45 anyway. It's about time.
Right.
Now, you sound like my brother.
It's
man.
like we just skipped a number. We went from 44 to 46. This one's just going to be an asterisk and it gets lost in history. What happened to 45? What are we talking about?
Well, yeah, you can't because you can't square root 45. So yeah.
I mean, there you go.
Am I right, Armani?
Yes.
Okay. Man, woo. Okay, I had to ask because math is that's not my ministry. I had to ask the teacher. So yeah.
The doctor.
Yeah. So we have a president after 4 days.
Yeah.
After an election week.
Yeah.
An election week. So it started off a little interesting. Even the beginning of this thing started weird. Like it started at a snail's pace. Like Biden gets I think the first state was Kentucky. Yeah, that was the first state. Kentucky was the first one. It only had 8 electoral votes. When that came in, they were like, okay, he's got Kentucky. And then next thing you know, it's just a pause. Then all of a sudden Biden came, bam, New York, pow, Vermont, and
Delaware,
New Hampshire. And, it was just bink, 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 bink. And then all of a sudden the Trump states started to come in like the Dakotas, Tennessee. So that came in. And then, of course, but
Mississippi.
Right. Alabama, So, yeah, but it did. And then as the states got bigger, the results got slower.
Yeah, right.
Like Texas took forever, you know.
It almost turned blue.
Almost. And it has not been blue,
almost.
I don't think, since Clinton. It has not been blue, I don't think. No, that's not true.
Before the 70s.
Yeah, that's right. Before that. Yeah, it was Jimmy Carter, if I'm not mistaken.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Which is awesome because Jimmy Carter is an amazing man of God. Just the man is like 99 plus years old, still building homes.
Trying to make it
The man is building houses in his 90s for Habitat for Humanity. God bless President Carter. Bless his health too.
And now God bless President Trump as you
Depart.
As he departs.
Make your departure.
You think he's going to leave quietly in the night?
Oh no.
Oh no. He is I don't about want to him put up a fight.
He's about to put up a temper tantrum. You know them little 4-year-olds in the grocery store that you go to? So where I live, I go to the Collierville grocery store. That's like a really nice suburban area.
Of course.
Not
they
a lot
serve you
of,
they serve you like hors d'oeuvres as you shop.
It's fancy, right?
It's really neat.
I walk into these grocery stores and I'm that guy that looks at all the parents that can't control their kids because I got mines in line. You feel me? And so when I look at all these kids and they want the fruit roll-ups or the fruit by the foot, and they can't get it because their parents take away from them, they start falling on the floor. That's how I'm envisioning President Trump acting as it's time to leave the White House.
But you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you at all. I thought that it was going to be a landslide victory. I thought that Trump was going to kill this. I did. I was like, man, I guess it really doesn't matter because I think these people have in their mind that Trump is.
I think I was in the same vein. I just didn't want to admit it.
Yeah. I just knew it. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Looking at this now and how it is, nothing surprises me anymore. Like
2020
for sure.
Yeah, nothing. Especially, man, 2020. This is the same year that the entire world shut down. This is the entire year that we have now. We're knocking at 3 million people worldwide that gone to glory from this virus. We're looking at the same year that economy is just, man, we don't know where it is. And, you know, stimulus packages and all kind of stuff going on and people getting Supreme Court justice jobs with no experience. And all bets are off. So it would not surprise me at all if this wasn't over.
You know, I can see where you're coming from with that. However, I look at things through a spiritual lens. And and earlier in the year,
teach us, sir.
I feel like what the Lord was showing me was vivid of me hearing. I was talking about help is on the way from 1 Samuel chapter 11.
Right.
And how at that particular point in time there was this king of the Assyrians, King Nahash.
Yes.
And King Nahash comes against the children of Israel in Jabesh Gilead. Yep. And as he's there, Jabesh Gilead begins to communicate among the countrymen.
Right.
Hey, in 7 days we're going to die, fam. They're going to pluck out our right eye. They're going to take over our country. And when it got to the right ears to hear the communication, Saul began to get angry.
Yeah,
the Bible says he got angry and the Spirit of the Lord fell upon him. He got angry. And in that moment, he said enough is enough, and he was drawing the line. And I feel like earlier in the year, as I was making that presentation to a group of people and partners, that the Lord was drawing the line in 2020. This was the year where we've seen a lot of interesting things.
For sure.
Countries shut down.
Oh, yeah.
Like not just one, a number of countries shut down.
Yeah.
People are getting sick, right? We can't stop the sickness from overtaking certain people.
Man.
Even with the best home remedies, right? People are still sick on ventilators. Right. Hospitals are overflowing with people. Yep. We don't have enough technology to take care of people. We don't have enough PPE, right?
Right.
And I just heard, I'm drawing the line. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And if this election didn't teach me anything else, was that in the Lord's hands, He's the one that has the final say.
Sure.
Yes.
And if He doesn't want to have a person representing a country, then it's not too hard for Him to just draw the line in the sand, cause the entire world to stop, and do what He does best, which is make things move and make things work for Him.
So with that said, you know, there's been talk in the body of Christ about the revival. Do you think that is the direction spiritually that God is looking to say, well, if you're not going to do it through administration, through your political office, then I'm going to do it through the spiritual offices, the fivefold ministry.
I think revival, when we look at it, I think sometimes we get a little bit deep with it, right? A revival is something more than a movement.
Right.
A shifting.
Okay.
And in that shifting, it sets a new precedence, a new expectation, a new perspective, a new point of view, right? Creating new opinions on how things should work.
Yeah.
We've been working and operating in the same vein for probably, at least in the church, for at least maybe 100 years.
Yeah.
And the last pandemic didn't change it. And the pandemic after that didn't change, right? You're talking about the Spanish flu and the flu that came around in the 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yellow fever and
exactly.
all that. Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, I think right now he's giving us a new level of vision.
That's
good. Opening our eyes to seeing the world differently.
Yeah.
Because we've had to innovate. Revival is nothing more than innovation. When the revival fell on the children that God had called in Acts chapter 2, that I think it was 120 folk were in the upper room following Jesus Christ's message. What he told them was that on that day you're going to feel my spirit. Yeah. And then I think the prophet Joel talks about how sons will prophesy and see visions, and old men shall dream dreams and things of that nature, right? And so Peter has this address among these people, and as they had that address among those people, he was talking about how God brought revival to us, but from another vein.
Right.
It was innovative. It was creative. And 2020 was a very innovating and creating year.
It was. I remember 2 years ago in 2018, Apostle Eckhart was traveling the nation, going to churches and ministering, and even online, and he kept saying this thing about reset. Excuse me, about divine reset. There's a reset coming. There's a reset. Divine reset, and I believe that this is basically that reset. And you're absolutely right. It makes a lot of sense. And you're right. People do look at matters of spirit too deep sometimes, that it's supposed to be like they see in movies, and, like it's going to be like Thanos getting all the stones and then snapping, and then everything just changes abruptly, So yeah, you're absolutely right about that. So looking at it from the political stance and even the educational stance, how would somebody even view or trust our system after this? Do you think that they look at it more as, I trust that government works, the process works more now when I see that they took the time to count it, to do things. They took 4 days, get this thing in order. I can trust the system now. Do you think this reestablishes that?
I think it does. There's definitely a renewed sense of trust in our system, just for the exact reasons that you just said. That the fact, I think a lot of us were frustrated because the process was taking so long, but I think it showed us that people are actually taking time to count, ballots that are coming in, mail-in ballots, the election day ballots, and all of that. People are actually taking the time, and it shows that it does actually work, and the system is doing what it was designed to do.
And that's interesting, because we talked. I remember a couple of years ago we talked about Stacey Abrams, and how you were saying that, especially being a former Atlanta resident, like for a fact, like there was some mess going on with that. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if she's the one saying, "Ha ha, I told you so."
Right. At
this point, I saw an article this morning from CNN saying, revenge is a dish best served blue. And it was talking about Stacey Abrams.
Blue wave, baby.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. We filmed something the other night, Pastor Sam, and you said, I believe it's going to be a blue wave that's going to hit America. And sure enough, here we are, Prophet. Here we are.
Sometimes I just be talking and the Lord just get on in there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true. And believe it or not, there were two particular areas that really turned the tide, and that was the military and the mail-in ballots. Mm-hmm. The very things that he negated, Trump negated during
He told his followers not to do the mail-in ballots.
Yep.
And now you're wondering, why all these mail-in ballots?
Well, let's be fair, though. So there was an unusual turnout.
It's huge.
From early voting
for sure.
and election night pollsters.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is this was a record year for the election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More people voted this year than ever before within
Ever
history.
before. Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah,
Number
the numbers
two,
are up.
Joe Biden, even though he had the most votes, because he's going to win the popular vote, they haven't finished counting in California or the West Coast, so Oregon and Washington and some of the other states, right? But number two, Trump would have had, technically, for being technical, the second largest number of votes in the history of our election.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was a huge turnout across both sides of business, right?
So what does that say about America as a socially? What does that say? If that was, I mean, it really was a fight. I mean, that was a fight. Like, that was, I mean, forget WWE, forget UFC. That was a fight for real. Like, and you're talking about mindsets, and you're talking about in complete polar opposites, these two. Like, that was a real fight. So socially, what do y'all think of where America is? I know, Bright, I see your head, I see your wheels turning over there.
I'm trying to preface this because I don't normally I have the extreme perspective.
Yeah.
But to go back to kind of what Armani said earlier when he said that the process did what it was supposed to do, I take that in, like Pastor Sam would say, I go maybe a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Because it sparked a revival. There were two different revivals going on.
Come on, man.
One to awaken to combat the change, and one to awaken to let you know that they were going to maintain what the status was. See, we were talking earlier, we thought the country had come further than it actually had shown us. We thought we made a whole lot more advancements, but I think this election showed us that there's still a big population that wants to keep America the way it was, because I think we have given President Trump too much credit for the climate and temperature of America. I believe he just facilitated the flow so people could show you who they really were.
Wow.
And there are a lot of people who were riding with that horse with President Trump that now, once he's gone, they're going to have to be accountable. And I think what it did, it helped a lot of minorities understand that, we really haven't progressed the way we thought we progressed.
Yeah.
And it's maybe a little weird, but we really can tip our hats to President Trump for exposing America and showing
he did
us,
his job.
He really was an instrument of change, because we were asleep, and he is really the instrument that made everybody become woke now, because he has done so much. And the reason he lost a lot of the military was because, remember, a long time ago, he started saying a lot of derogatory things toward the military. And this was the first time you'd ever had high-ranking military officials whose discipline and our backbone is structure, honor, and respect.
Yeah.
And they were speaking out openly, not behind closed doors. They were publicly saying they are not on board with the commander-in-chief. You've never seen
straight defiance.
You've never seen generals, the highest ranking, say, we're not agreeing with that.
Wow.
So I think we kind of didn't count on that part. So when you had a lot of the absentee ballots from the military coming in, the military will never let you disrespect the military.
Oh, no.
All the branches. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what's going on, but the minute you disrespect the military, you've lost that power. But I think President Trump really let America see, like, hey, we are this country, and that's why he was trying to keep it.
No mail-in ballots.
That came back to Biden, but he was trying to keep the country what it really was.
Yeah.
We just didn't believe it was.
It was really the case.
We didn't believe the country was as bad as our president was behaving.
Yeah.
But in actuality, our country was actually what made our president. So our president was just a reflection of half the country.
Wow.
This election should not have been this close.
And you know what's so interesting? When you say that, it really does. It really does show you the deeper meaning, because a lot of evangelicals were saying that Trump is exposing America. Trump is doing this with our government. He's doing so. in all actuality, like you said, he did his job. He
Yeah.
did what
He has been the most entertaining president.
Nah, man.
Because
Nothing's gonna beat George W. Bush getting the shoes thrown at him. I'm sorry.
now that was entertaining. But President Trump has given us so many hot takes and so many things to make us be introspective about where we really stand.
Right.
And
the lines are clearly drawn. And clearly.
Like, you really can't hide now. It's
sure.
You're one or the other. There is no lukewarm.
Yeah.
And what I want to make sure I add that I think was very, very overlooked sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We as minorities, blacks, Hispanics, anyone that's not American, that's the best way I'll put that.
Okay.
When you check your
the traditional American, I guess.
So when the political parties were created, it did not have, the Democratic and Republican parties back in 1787. We were still slaves. So this system is what I have a problem with, because no matter who we elect to be president, if the system was created without minorities or blacks in mind, it doesn't matter if it's President Trump, Joe Biden, President Obama, whoever. The system never included us.
Yeah.
So
we wrote the system, but it wasn't meant for us.
So I have
fought for it. Died for it.
I have tempered enthusiasm about a system that never included me. So it's like, no matter who you move or put in it, it's still the same system.
Yeah.
And it's sort of the same situation with the police department.
Mm-hmm.
Until you fix the system, it doesn't matter what you do. You have to create a new system.
Well,
so
let's be fair with this one, though. I'm going to present 2 point of views. I'm going to juxtapose this conversation.
Yes.
What that means, I'm going to introduce a little bit of conflict.
Yes, sir.
So the first conflict I'm going to introduce is President Trump had more African Americans vote for him this year, in the middle of the crisis,
right,
in the middle of racial injustice,
particularly black men.
Yes.
So you're talking about a system that wasn't made for us, but you still got the slaves running back to the slave owner saying, "Hey, master, don't forget about me." So that's number one. Number two, there were more white men that voted for the change we should have been fighting for ourselves.
They voted for white.
So
yeah,
that's almost like when Moses got the children of Egypt out from Pharaoh. Once they started and they got out, the mentality still wanted to go back.
Yeah.
Wait. We didn't even leave Egypt yet.
And
at least the children of Israel left Egypt before they talked about going back. This now is us, after we elected Biden, is us walking out of Egypt in a way. Now I want to present another perspective. So first, my first one was we had the African American men who voted more for Trump than they did last year.
Right.
Yes.
Number two,
then they voted. Period.
Yes.
Exactly.
Period.
And they voted Republican.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number two, more white men voted for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Voted for the change. Number three, Biden's stance was to do the changes that you were talking about. Now, we have a responsibility to hold him accountable, but the fact that he was still running on defunding the police to present change to the structure of the systematic oppression they provided. And I also think that has to go another step further to the court system as well. Because if you defund the police and you restructure their organization, you also have to restructure the organization that sends the men to jail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's still overpopulated with African-American men more than anything else, because they're private prisons that are benefiting off the backs of free labor.
Which is interesting, too, because that would be one reason why most black men voted for Trump, because of Kamala Harris's stance with putting so many black men in jail in California, you know. So but here's the interesting thing about that. The subject matters that you were talking about, defund the police and the stuff with the military and things like that, that was very early on. Statistically, the mail-in ballots were majority, almost 90% of them were majority Democrat favored.
Absolutely.
The tradition is that Republicans walk in to vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
And more Democrats mail in to vote. And that's what came back. Excuse me. That's what came back and really got them.
Mm-hmm.
Because early in the campaign, that's when all those issues were coming up.
That's why he wanted to stop the election. He said that election night, he walked out there saying, "I won this thing." Don't count no more votes,
Yep.
even though they already had them in there.
Yeah, they were already in. They just hadn't been counted yet.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was the
Talking
early,
about illegal votes.
It was
Get your little,
man. Who would think that the post office would be the unsung hero?
Right.
To the and my mom, God bless her. My mom just retired from the post office this year.
God bless her
Yeah,
soul.
God bless her, man. So 42 years. you know.
Lord have
Yeah,
mercy.
42 years at the post office. And it's so funny because she said this I think she said it in June. She said Biden's going to win by mail-in because you could tell because it's something about that mail-in ballot. And I don't know what it is about Democrats. They always, because she processed the mail, and she would say, I don't know what it is. It was always blue. Those ballots coming in were always blue. They were always blue. You know, people always voted because it was a lot of seniors, people that, you know, stuff like that. So they couldn't get out, people in the hospital, things like that.
That's another thing.
Yep.
You had more older white men who voted for Biden.
Yeah.
Which changes the landscape of everything.
Yeah.
Because am I happy that the country, that they're more woke under Trump? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because with that, even though you still had a large piece of America that voted for him, you have a lot more that were against him.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, scripturally speaking, it's like Elisha talking to his servant. And when they were surrounded by the Syrians, the servant goes to Elisha and says, oh, man, we're surrounded. And Elisha says, go back and look again. Lord, open his eyes. And the moment he opened his eyes, he saw that there were more for them.
Then again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Chariots of fire.
Listen,
Fire.
and that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at there being more for change, more for revival, more for creativity and innovation, and changing what we've done for hundreds of years.
Oh yeah.
Than who are trying to remain the same.
And we're about to see some amazing creativity come up out of this. We're about to see some incredible creativity and innovation in education, in pastoral care, out of the military, and just in art and media. We're about to see some amazing stuff come out of this.
What I don't want America to do, and I don't want us to miss, is now, since there'll be a new president coming in, that we don't relax.
Right.
Because President Trump kept us awake, and we stayed. Yeah. We were so awoke. Yeah. And on everything he did, and that's why I say
Biden definitely gonna have to work.
We got to hold him accountable.
For sure.
As a matter of fact, not just him, the party. The
for
party has to
sure.
be. There is. You talking about checks and balances? You're about to see some checks and balances, which leads me to what I was going to say earlier. This Ice Cube Platinum Plan production for Black America, whatever his thing is called. Biden was very adamant about, I want to see it. I want to plug in with it. You know, this is what we got. He did a 46-page.
Yes, it's a 46-page layout, a plan.
Yeah, I haven't read it either. It's supposed to be online, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But they said
it's very detailed.
So you looked at it?
Yes, it's very detailed, and he actually laid out specific requirements, and it's pretty much what he's saying is the Black community wants this for you to do, like for us to support you, we need this. It's almost like how a long time ago when Chuck D was compromising with Nike and battling, like, hey,
right.
if we're giving you all this money, you need to come back to us. Yeah. So it's just a more detailed version of that, but it's very specific. And initially, he was listening and sitting down with President Trump because President Trump actually wanted to hear it.
Right.
And everybody just kind of left on him.
They tore him up.
But
they tried to cancel him.
But he was really trying to see, like, who's going to do more than lip service.
Yep. And it doesn't matter who it is.
Let's just get to the result or get to the mission. But it's a very detailed plan.
Okay. I heard it was 46 pages, and Trump's was one. It was one page. It was literally a sheet, like almost like a brochure. Like these are the points, etc. Because he was like, well, I'll do this, but what I would do is I would put somebody in place and then let them deal with it, kind of thing. So he'll just say yes and then just put his guy there and then
and that's how it mostly is ran, When you think about most heads of leadership, the CEO doesn't bother with the payroll. Yeah. They just care that the person who's in charge of payroll takes care of paying the folks.
So with that said, who would you say Biden would put in that? The first face that popped in my mind would probably be Cory Booker.
To do what?
To head that.
Which space of cabinetry are you talking about?
To I don't know about the cabinetry. He may even create a place in the cabinet for something like that, which would make sense, considering the times that we're in, to create a cabinet for, you can't necessarily class it under diversity. I would probably say it would probably be, I'm not sure, maybe something connected to justice, maybe to equality or something, or maybe, I don't know. But it sounds, I guess my question to you is who, or to y'all, would be who would you see in that space to kind of lead the charge in taking up from Biden's administration of exercising?
It better not be Betsy DeVoe, I'll tell you that.
No. It's time for her to go.
I coordinate.
Idiot.
Sorry,
man. Listen.
I'll be honest. I think that because Stacey Abrams, if I'm not mistaken, now correct me if I'm wrong, how much political experience does she have?
Stacey,
in terms of a large seat, because I know that she ran for governor, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't win the election because of some back seat.
Yeah, a little voter irregularity, kind
Right.
of, quote unquote.
if it were me, if she doesn't have anything like that in terms of Senate, Congress, or something along those lines, I think that may be a good space for her, because now it's teaching her how to work with multiple parties at the same time and learning how the system works.
But I have a problem with that, and I'm gonna tell you why. In the world of feminist movement, I think that she would get personal and use that as a way to kind of be like, ladies first kind of thing, and put her personal interest in it. I'm not saying she would do that, but I'm concerned about that because, it's because I noticed that with this Trump situation too, it's almost kind of put this little bit of rift between black men and women, to where black women are starting to basically say, girl power and all that, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But they seem to only exercise unity with us when it's one of us getting killed by police, or if it's one of us getting harassed or something like that. Not necessarily in general. I don't really see a general consensus of supporting black men. I still think that black women are just unifying and closing ranks, and they getting theirs. God bless them. But as a whole, the only time we seem to come together on both sides is when there's a situation like a George Floyd or an Ahmaud or whatever. So it's the defund the police and the Black Lives Matter stuff is rooted in that, sure. But all of the Black Lives Matter people are all led by women. The organization led by women. All this, every time you see memes on Kamala Harris, it's all about her being a woman. It's never about her experience. It's never about what she knows. It's never about her accomplishments. It's just about the fact that she's a lady. That's it. And even in her behavior at the debate,
So you're talking about the qualification is she's a black woman.
She's a black woman. That's it. And putting Stacey Abrams in that spot is great. And I think that Stacey could do. I think is she a doctor? I don't want to disrespect her title. Okay, but I think that Stacey's a great candidate for it. But I really, 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 really think that it's time to put some men in place.
Well, you asked about that specific place, and when you said Cory Booker, I disagreed because I think he should be a part of the cabinet.
He will be. I think he will be. And I would not doubt if they either created a spot
no, they can give him something right away. I feel like...
I'm talking about in regard to that particular situation.
I think he needs to take on, because you're talking about black men not having the opportunities that black women do have, at least within politics, or to lead certain of these movements.
Right.
I think a better place for him would be like a Secretary of State or something along those lines.
Oh yeah. Now I definitely see.
So I don't
Cory
think
Booker doing something.
I don't think
like
they need
that.
to create something just to give it to him and say, "Here you go, Mr. Black."
Oh
Man.
no, not that way. I'm talking about along with that.
Oh
yeah.
Well, he could just take that right underneath his department. Like that could be something where he pieces together a game plan as a Secretary of State, and people who are under his regime could take care of that. But if they did give it to him. But I personally think that someone needs to put a personal touch on it who reports directly to the president.
Right.
And mans that position.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want to have happen is that position getting lost in the vein of empty promises.
Yep.
Right? Because what we have a tendency to do is to say, I want to create this position. We're gonna develop it. We're gonna make it. We make it all sound good, but then when it comes time for the work to be done for it, it gets lost in the shuffle.
Oh yeah.
So I think what we need with that one, instead of putting it a part of the cabinet and having it underneath the umbrella of what someone's already doing,
right?
I think it needs to have full visibility. Someone needs to communicate what they're doing consistently, and I think in doing that, the promises that have been made during the campaign are held accountable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I guess that when you talk it that way, it makes me think of Homeland Security. You know, how Homeland Security came about and everybody was like, well, how are we going to integrate this? So they created an entire division just for that. And it was under the umbrella of the Attorney General by way with the military. I may be wrong in that, but that's kind of like a parent. That's kind of like a parent situation.
But it had its own face.
Yeah. It's got its own
and
thing.
trackability and accountability.
Right. You know, it's not like ICE or anything like that, but it has its own kind of placement there. You know, because ICE and TSA and all that, they kind of shake hands with all of that. So that's a different kind of thing.
Together.
Right.
I got you.
So that, but that is the face of it. That's what I'm saying. That's how I think it should be.
Like if you're talking about that, man, Keith Ellison.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Minnesota Attorney General of Minnesota.
That's
taking
true.
Over the George Floyd case.
Yeah.
Man,
he would be good for that.
100%.
He is a total beast.
Yeah.
Like he would be good for that. So yeah, that makes sense. So that's how I was seeing it would be like that. Like if it came to that, again, it makes it legal. You're putting a seal on it. You know what I'm saying?
And that person has to have the right amount of experience as a lawyer,
right,
to understand the laws and how to, as we say, manipulate them.
Interpret them and
decipher.
And I think there you go. And I think that was the big disappointment with former, AG Eric Holder. I think that was a big problem there, especially with Trayvon Martin. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things where it was like, man, I thought you were going to do something about this. You the AG, like you're the.
They report to you,
right? You are the black dude in charge. You are the H block.
Like you would have thought that he would have been more like a Robert Kennedy,
right?
And how Robert Kennedy was
when he came after the mob and all
absolutely.
That. Man.
Yeah. Or even for civil rights.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Robert Kennedy documentary. Go check it out on Netflix. The Robert Kennedy documentary.
It is good.
And he was the one who, even though he wasn't necessarily for Dr. Martin Luther King in the very beginning,
right,
he ended up fighting and standing in agreement with the civil rights movement.
Well, he realized he was in a bubble, I mean, in that Kennedy, Massachusetts, bubble, I mean, at that time, especially in the 60s.
They didn't have social media.
Yeah, they did, and they didn't have a whole, even the black community in Boston, they were looked at as like aggravators and, they're troublemakers and stuff like that. And dare I say, even King was seen that way to a certain degree.
It was the way the media was presenting it.
Right. Exactly. Which is another change that I really believe is going to happen. Have you noticed how Fox News has been very quiet this week? Like they have not been.
I was intentionally going back and forth between Fox and
CNN.
As well, just to kind of see the difference.
Yeah, man. Fox has taken like they're like yon, bro. Like, that's pretty much.
I think they're glad Trump is on his way out.
Yeah.
If you remember in the beginning of his election against Hillary, he had that issue with one of their main commentators.
Yep.
And then after that election, she was removed, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course, I think she had the shut up and dribble comments as well, right?
Yeah.
But still, they've had to do a whole lot of different ways that they present media due to Trump.
Well, even the moderator for the second one?
The first one.
He was the one that basically, he was Fox News. He basically told Trump, listen, what are you doing? Like he was the first Fox reporter I've ever seen.
Hold him accountable.
That held him accountable. He called him out, and he was like, he dang near stopped the interview.
Said that's not true.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Yeah. I mean, from Fox, I'm surprised he still has a job.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
I think they gave Fox more ratings. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
of course it did.
I would like to see how Fox News now revamps their broadcasting, because you had a lot of people that were spewing this rhetoric that was not truthful.
Right.
And now I want to see, okay, now that President Trump is gone, will the people still hold you as credible? Because we just watched you for 3 years endorse.
Lying.
Yeah, like literally endorse.
It was bad.
And I mean, go down with the ship.
Yeah.
So now,
brutal.
when there's someone else, I want to see just where's your following or who's your backing, because that again will show you more of where we really are.
And the last time we saw this from Fox was Monica Lewinsky. That's the last time we saw this.
Yes.
They completely flipped the script and went ham on President Clinton.
Yes.
I mean, tore him up. And that's when they went the conservative route and they saw their numbers spike and they were like, this is the way to go. And they've been riding that train since, what was that, 98?
98.
Yeah, they've been riding that train since 1998. Over 20 years. Fox has made billions of dollars off of a conservative, uber conservative stance. And they're, like you said, they're revamping their traction here.
Like Sean Hannity's been very calm.
Oh,
quiet.
yeah.
Like normally he just he's been church mouse quiet.
Yep.
Like
He just reads that prompter,
Hearing
gets
a
off the
mouse
air.
pissing on cotton quiet.
Yeah, man. He's been real with that thing, man. Just reading that thing and getting off of the air.
Yeah, I am definitely going to be interested, particularly over these next couple of days,
Yeah.
to just watch how people, particularly within the Republican Party,
Right.
how they respond.
If you've paid attention, everyone's been like, count the legal votes.
Yeah.
And their interpretation of legality is different than Trump's perspective.
Right.
Of legality.
Absolutely.
Trump's mad because they continued to count beyond election night.
Right.
Yeah.
When he was announced winner of the election night 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And Mitch McConnell and some of the other conservative leaders have been saying, well, just count the legal votes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of victories
Yeah.
in this House of Representatives.
Oh yeah, they're fine.
I mean, listen, and if you hear the language of Trump, why, if the Democrats were stealing the election the way that he's spewing it, wouldn't that change the House and the Senate within those states?
Absolutely.
So Arizona, Georgia, how come it's only you that's having the problem?
Yeah.
So
Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
go ahead.
that speaks more to the acumen, to where it's just, we've never had a person that's supposed to be the leader be this reckless and just blatantly, and I don't want to be, you don't want to be disrespectful.
Special ed, I got you. Don't worry about it. That's why DeVoe's the Secretary of Education in this country. They went to the same private school.
They went to the same.
You've never seen this type of ignorance from the leader. Like, as a military veteran, I have never been more ashamed to be an American.
Man,
in this moment.
That says a lot. That says a lot.
Because no matter what goes on, the outside countries looking at us like,
what are y'all doing?
We complain about communism in other countries, and we have this mess to where it's like a 3-year-old just having a temper tantrum.
I remember that last press conference he had. I remember it. I was driving home and just listening to him. As soon as he walked out, he just started with complete and utter lies.
Yeah.
And he just wrote that for the entire 15 minutes that he was talking.
Man.
And I was just like, so you just gonna lie like that? And
we have evidence.
Like what? Where's the evidence?
Millions and millions of ballots.
I would be okay with you suing if you had
evidence.
Yeah. But you have none.
Yeah.
You're just mad because you're losing. But
so with that said, going back to my first question, do you think he's going to go out quietly?
Oh, no, he's not. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all, me personally, just me, please don't misconstrue what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I need my president to give me one more going out the door. He has been entertaining.
That is so
I
funny.
need him to go out with a fight.
I
need this to happen.
This is what I'm expecting. I think what's going to happen behind closed doors of the White House, they're going to have them military troops walk in there.
And that's what Biden said at the debate. He said, I would have military. No, he did an interview with CNN.
Well, I don't think because Biden won't be sworn in at that time. I think what's going to happen is because I don't see Trump getting off on that chopper.
Yeah, see, I need him to fuss. I need him to fuss the whole way to the helicopter. And everything.
I don't even think he's going to be there. I think what's going to happen is I think they're going to quietly escort him to a limo
and just drive him off.
And in the quiet of the night,
he's going to leave a day or two earlier. I promise. I need him to get.
So you don't think he's going to even be at the swearing?
I don't think he's going to be at the swearing in.
This man has shown there is no respect of structure, authority, or law. So,
and to be fair, he hasn't had to have that because he's a we don't know how many billions of dollars he doesn't have. I think he maybe have a couple $100 million.
Yeah. Well, he bankrupt 7 times.
But
7.
Listen, now, in the same breath, I will acknowledge he is about to be.
His brand is through the roof.
He's about to make so much money because
either
way, if you hate him, you're going to buy the book to see what the hate is.
Yep.
If you support
and
him,
you're going to that library.
Yes,
you're going to go to that library.
So
he's going to write a book and tell the secrets.
Yep. Yeah. So, and that's really my biggest thing. Like, I wonder if the people who are under him are worried because he has shown if he's going down, he's going to take it all. He's going to put it all out there. So
I really think exposure is going to happen through this transition process. You're going to see a lot of stuff come out.
We're watching a 74-year-old man have a temper tantrum in the highest office of the free country in the world.
It's not even this bad. Golly, just accept it and go on.
He has been so entertaining to me. Like, he has lowered the bar in ways that have just been I don't know. And my biggest concern is what really can President-elect Joe Biden do? Because this mess that has been created, this isn't going away right away.
Man,
like,
what is now? Has he said what his agenda is for the first 100 days that he wants to do?
I think he's going to handle the coronavirus.
I think we're going to be locked down again.
The first thing.
I don't think it's going to be a lockdown like it was in March. I think he's going to put some restrictions and implement some curfews that probably need to be implemented to an extent.
You know what? I want to bring this up too. Did we just gloss over how our current president said he had the virus, and then 2 days later he's like,
he's good,
and nobody's like,
well,
hey.
Today the Secretary of State maybe
came out positive.
Yeah,
really? His chief of staff.
Chief of staff.
So Trump's chief of staff had the coronavirus, and he's been close within that environment of everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now let's talk about the fact that they've had 4 cases of COVID in the White House.
But the president got it.
Special ed.
Outbreaks.
But the president got it and apparently has been cured quicker than anybody else. And he is the geriatric population, which is
that's most at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was cured 2-3 days.
Yeah.
By some mysterious vaccine that we don't know.
Yeah.
And we just gonna let this slide. He has been able to do so much foolishness, and we just turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
not Obama. Obama couldn't even wear a khaki suit without them talking about that man. A khaki suit. And this man's talking about they're cheating in Georgia and they're cheating in Pennsylvania, and the people of Philadelphia, they're so very crooked.
He came
so
out
very
and said
crooked
he
people.
won himself. That was it for me. He came out and said he won.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, even I think I checked his Twitter page just when I checked it was over an hour ago, and that was today, and he still said he won.
So here's the thing too. Also,
he still said he won.
He was talking
we won
about
election night, and we won by millions and millions of votes. Go back and check the record.
Everything is always millions.
We won
and
by
millions.
millions of votes.
Everything he's done is always by millions and millions. He's helped
lots and
millions
lots.
and millions of black people and done millions and millions of things.
Let me tell you something. I've done more for the black community than Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. Go check the record.
But you know what's interesting too is that now that it's switched over, now we got somebody else in there. You look back and you see all those things. Like you guys are literally going down memory lane with this. It's
comedic.
When you think about it now, like now that it's switched over, it's like
since 2016.
Hold on a minute. This is crazy.
This man,
if you go back to it, there on Netflix is a Trump documentary, and Trump has always spoken the same language. We've just never paid attention.
Yeah.
It's always lots and lots and millions. They were talking about a Trump airline. And how it
totally crashed.
And it died a horrible death.
Yeah.
You know,
it didn't literally crash, but it didn't do well.
I mean, listen. And he says, we have millions and millions of planes, and I think we're going to go after Delta. I don't know, Continental. We're going to go after them, and we're going to take over the entire East Coast.
He's speaking things that are not as though they were.
Oh, no, the man of God was giving us fables and falsehood. That's what he's been giving us.
Like he's been allowed to spark riots just off of saying anything. Like he said he's going to take it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court. But the actual law is it has to start at the state level before it can get to the Supreme Court.
Right.
He has a population of his followers that thinks it just goes straight to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Again, showing lack of acumen.
Yeah.
But this is our leader.
Yeah.
So again, this reflects on all of us as a country.
As a country.
And it's just like, this is the system. This is the system that I'm supposed to believe the next person coming into office is going to help change. Like President Obama did so much for foreign policy and just building better relationships and making the United States credible.
Mm-hmm.
And this man has just trashed all of that like in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
The minute he got in office, it just went downhill.
Wow. Well, with that said, that's a great way to close us out. That's amazing. I thought this was going to end with a trilogy, but apparently we're going to have to do this again. We got to do this.
Another one.
We got to do this again. We got to do it again. I think next time, though, I'd like to do this is speaking openly, but I would like to do a video version of this one next time.
Don't put me on camera.
I think this would be so funny if people saw this because it is so funny, man. Yeah, weigh your mushroom,
Get the
Bill.
mushroom.
Weigh your mushroom, Bill.
Put it together.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope.
I heard somebody got you whipped there, Marcus.
Wee. Bang, 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 bang. All right, I'm done.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll just bring my best behavior next time around. That's what we'll do.
Listen. Hey, I want to thank y'all so much for being on the show, man. Thank you again to AA Armani Alexander, the good doctor, and Doctor, and Pastor Sam Fitten, and my man Antonio Bright. God bless all three of y'all, and thank y'all so much. So in conclusion, we have a new president, and I think the best thing to do is just to sit back and enjoy the ride. And
Stay woke. It's gonna be a ride for sure.
Stay woke.
Come on.
It ain't over till the fat man sings.
Man, come on, man. This good.
We'll be singing in January.
We're about to see some very creative TV.
Just stay woke. Don't let a new president give you complacency.
Man.
Keep that same energy like President Trump was in office.
Yeah. Do not get laxed on this.
Sure.
Don't let the Black Lives Movement matter become fashionable.
Yeah, that's true.
And lose the power. Like we've let a whole lot of things kind of distract us.
Yep.
We need to now get back to that same fight because as it's still going on, there are still black men being shot dead.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there was just a case a while back that happened, but so we want to make sure that we stay addressing
the
that.
case in Washington.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure we pray for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
That young lady is about to face intimidation, discrimination.
Oh yeah.
Sexism.
First black woman, first female, first Asian, first all that.
Then after all the intimidation and everything, then they're going to say she's a black woman.
Yeah.
So they're going to come after her. So we need to always make sure we
definitely
affirm her
pray for her
and keep her lifted up in a positive and not be so quick to bite at her if she does something wrong.
And for President Biden, I mean, he's
let's just pray he can be president.
I pray we'll all be ready.
We got to pray.
Lord
Got to pray for him because he's up there.
77.
Yeah,
he's
up
77.
there.
I think it's 79.
Joe Biden,
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you this.
Joe
He's
Biden
so
is
old
up
we don't
there.
know his age.
If you just so happen to listen to this, you got 2 to 3 years to forgive my student loans. We're gonna have a problem.
Listen,
And I want my $15,000 on my down payment.
Come
on my
on,
house.
all that.
All of it.
I want you to meet your promises, sir.
reparation.
Do what you said she gonna do. Well, guys, thank y'all so much. God bless y'all. Next week, join us where we're going to talk about the power source of a creative, which is the power of prayer. I have some intercessors that are joining me, and you guys don't want to miss that. So for now, enjoy your new president. Welcome, number 46. God bless y'all. So before we go, I want to do one small thing, and you know what it is. You guys need to go to the altar in prayer. go to the altar. If you have not received Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I urge you to have that relationship with him now. I urge you to connect with a faith-based believer, a Bible-based believer, a person who has a heart of Christ, and let them lead you to the cross. And when you do that, connect with a Bible-based ministry. Of course, you can go online. All the churches now are virtual, and that's really about to increase now. Check out any of the churches that are online that are Bible-based and love the Lord and talk about relationship with Christ. That is key. God bless every single one of y'all. Remember, you have purpose as a creative, and God wants to make use of it to not only be a blessing for you, but to help move his kingdom forward through you. I'm Antoine Bean. That was Go Creator Go. Y'all be blessed. Peace. Go Creator Go was recorded at the studios of Triumph Media Works in Memphis, Tennessee. For more information, check out our website at triumphmediaworks.com and follow us on social media at Go Creator Go on Facebook and Instagram. Also, the Go Creator Go journal and book is released now on Amazon. You can order it right now at AntoineBean.com. ANTOINE, B as in baby, EANE.com. Check out AntoineBean.com for all the latest concerning Go Creator Go and our books and materials and other merchandise. Y'all be blessed. I will see y'all next week. Peace.